Hi there everyone, the Blast Bits here. Reacting
Today
to
was the long-awaited release of the first two
reacting to the
episodes of
reviews
Season 2 of Hazbin
Hazbin
Hotel.
Hotel
Like with
Season
Season
2.
1, I'll be reviewing both episodes in the same
I mean
video.
already the
I'll quickly
animation
give a
looks
brief
just as
synopsis
good.
of what happens, and then I'll move on to discuss the things I liked and
You're
disliked about
definitely
them.
laughing, 'cause
This video will
actually does look
contain
pretty
major
good.
spoilers, so I reckon it's
I
best to watch
agree,
the
Hoot.
episodes first and
I
then come
agree,
back here
Hoots.
later. I hope you enjoy. So episode 1 is split in half between the V's and the Hazbin Hotel. Vox uses 666 News to spread bad publicity about Charlie in the hotel. Meanwhile, Vaggie and the others have to deal with all of the new sinners and paparazzi showing up at the hotel. We meet Baxter, a new guest. There's two songs. The first one we've heard already, it's Has Been Guarantee. The second song is another V's track. The episode ends on a cliffhanger with Emily revealing that Serpentius is okay and was redeemed in heaven. Episode 2 follows the plot of Serpentius and all of the characters in heaven. Heaven is in disarray over his arrival. Lute wants Hell to be punished for Adam's death, while Sarah and the others want to explore redemption. We meet two new characters, being Adam's son Abel and the Speaker of God. Pentius explains how he ended up in Hell, and Emily shows him around heaven. There's 3 songs in this one. There's Gravity, which is a fan favourite of course, the song with Emily, Abel and St. Peter, and Sarah's Confession. The episode ends again on a semi-cliffhanger with Sarah and the other angels putting a shield around heaven. We see Emily go through the portal to quickly speak to Charlie as we saw in episode 1. We also saw Lilith again briefly, and she's deliberately ignoring the phone calls of Charlie and Lucifer. So with the content of the episodes covered, let's get into my thoughts. I'll start off with the things I liked first. Right off the bat, the extra 4 or so minutes to the runtime was a massive improvement. The pacing felt so much better than Season 1. Episode 1, for example, I think is far better than the first episode of Season 1. Obviously, it would have been ideal if the episodes were 30 minutes plus, but the additional runtime was really appreciated. It enhanced the episodes a lot, I think. The animation has gotten better, which is crazy considering that it was already great. The individual lines and backgrounds have improved. The effects, lighting and colours too are just way more vibrant. It might be hard to tell if you're watching a YouTube video since the quality will be compressed, but if you're watching it on Prime it's really noticeable, it looks beautiful. The facial animations are another great example. There's so many memeable moments where the characters are doing funny faces. Similarly to Season 1, there's so much attention to detail. I'll cover all of these things in a future video, but the backgrounds are packed with fun Easter eggs and secrets. I'm a big fan of these because it gives so much character to the world and also adds replayability for the fans. I'm happy that it was kept intact. In terms of writing and humour, again, I think it's better than Season 1. Episode 2 was a lot more plot focused, especially with it covering Serpentius' backstory. But Episode 1, I was laughing and smiling the entire way through. A lot of this just comes down to the V's. They're my favourite characters in the whole show, and it was the same last season. Personally, I think they're just a league above the rest of the cast. They're hilarious, but they're still really compelling villains. They also just have a lot of natural chemistry together. One joke I didn't find funny was the news reporter who kept mentioning how he killed his wife, but I think after maybe the 4th time he said it got a laugh out of me. Music wise, it's no surprise, every song was great, there's no complaints at all there. Has Been Guarantee, for example, I thought got a lot of hate when it was revealed early, but I quite liked it. Here in episode 1, it's way better, the visuals enhance it so much. It perfectly encapsulates the mindsets of the V's, and it's applicable to real life as well. People will use and discard you as soon as you're no longer useful to them. Great stuff. Sarah's Confession is my personal favourite of the bunch. A song from Sarah is something a lot of people were waiting for, and no surprise it was fantastic. The Speaker of God was a big shock. I was expecting her to maybe be a villain, but I was pleasantly surprised. Her lines complimented Sarah so much, it was lovely. As for the story itself, I enjoyed the little lore dumps and flashbacks. We got information about characters like Vox, Pentius and Sarah. A bunch of fan theories have now been debunked, but we can also start to discuss new ones, which is very exciting. So with the things I liked covered, let's get into my criticisms and things I think they could improve on. First up, I think there's a bit of a disconnect between the way the scenes are balanced. I'm not sure if I'm biased, but like I said earlier, I just find myself far more interested in what the V's are doing, compared to Charlie and the others at the hotel, for example. We're only 2 episodes in, so there's obviously a ton of room for growth in this department, but I think it's worth mentioning. Vaggie's plot, for example, with her considering changing her name, like that just wasn't particularly interesting to me. I was far more entranced with everything going on with Fox. With the pacing, although it's definitely better, it's in a middle ground where it's slower than Season 1, but still not quite perfect. During Season 1, things were so fast, especially in the first episode. It flew in and it was hard to understand what was going on at times, especially with the whole plot about heaven and the upcoming extermination. Here, although the stakes are definitely a bit lower, once again I think things are moving at an odd pace. I think this is just another product of the series only getting 8 episodes per season. Personally, I don't mind the dialogue and swearing, but I think some of the heaven scenes were a bit weaker, especially the lines from Abel and St. Peter. As I said, throughout episode 1 I was laughing constantly, but in episode 2 I was just almost kind of rolling my eyes at some of the dialogue from St. Peter and Abel. Lastly, this isn't really much of a criticism and more just personal opinion, but I kinda miss the old pilot Katie Killjoy. I love Brandon's version of her, all of the interactions with Vox were hilarious. But I also
The
kind
old
of miss
Katie
the pilot
Killjoy
version of
was
Katie as
pretty
well.
cool.
It's hard to explain. I somehow like the current version, but miss the old one. I'm glad we're seeing more Katie and Tom though, they were hilarious characters in the pilot. So in conclusion, what do I think of the first 2 episodes? I really enjoyed them. I tried my hardest to think about what the issues I had with them were, and there were very few. And I think they're down to personal
Okay.
preference as well. I think generally, Season 2 is off to a much stronger start than Season 1 was, and it's looking very intriguing so far. So that's everything. What did you think of the first 2 episodes? Did you enjoy them? Let me know
Well, I
down
think we
below.
enjoyed
As
them.
always, thanks for watching.
Well, that was certainly a good review and packed with tons of information. Bye, everyone. Oh, and if you saw the first 2 episodes of Hazbin Hotel, please tell us what you thought of it in the comments below.